What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of You for Spice and Wolf. This is episode 19, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah, this is the last episode of I guess, it's just like, one of the stuff that was originally animated from the OG series. But now after this one, we'll be finally going into brand new material that was not covered in the original anime.
Yeah, um, yeah, and I mean, they did announce this just recently that they're going to be, I guess, entering into a new arc for, I guess, the last like 6 episodes of this season. So it's going to be brand new material, and that's part of the reason why they made this series is because apparently, um, I guess in the original anime they skipped over this, and this was actually like I guess a necessary story arc because it is something I guess that's referenced later or the characters show up later, so they needed to, I guess, reboot the series or remake it, just so that they could cover this. Well, I guess maybe that's part of the reason so they could cover this story arc.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I haven't read the manga or the light novels, that take place maybe around in the future episodes. But yeah, I am kind of excited that that we're finally gonna actually get new material for the first time. But yeah, for this episode, of course, Lawrence is participating in the pyrite market. Um, after what happened in the last episode, in which like he's been given gold coins, uh, particularly as payment as a way for Amarty to buy off Holo from him. Um, so like Lawrence is kind of stuck in a rut when he finds out that the price of pyrite continues to rise during this during I guess during the sale or the market that he's currently participating at. Um, so like he tries to find a way to keep it from rising, but like he does it to no avail. So he meets up with like one of Diana's messengers to inform him that the negotiations with I guess the pirate didn't go as planned. So like at this point, like Lawrence almost feels like he's about to give up before he's spurred on by I think
Well,
I
that's
forgot
the
the
thing is that
character.
Diana's messenger like never shows up as he keeps waiting for one of Diana's messengers, but they never appear.
Mhm.
So he starts to he starts to get desperate and he wonders where they are. Um, and then he eventually he does kind of like give up and he, the boy that works with I forget his name but like one of his friends
Yeah.
basically like tries to encourage him and he decides to go back and just try to I guess try to sell or try to sell more. um
Yeah, to sell the remaining pyrite,
yeah
in which he runs into Holo, who also sells an even larger bag, uh, which apparently she got from Diana, and this leads into pretty around the market to start selling, uh, pretty much prompting the price of the pyrite to you know to drop, causing Amarty to lose a huge amount of profit uh, as a result. And soon afterwards, like he pretty much like admits failure to Lawrence by pretty much cutting off the deal in wanting to buy off Holo and apparently marry her. But of course, it's revealed later that Holo would have shot him down like regardless.
yeah and it's also revealed that Holo was the one that was the I guess the representative that was supposed to show up, one of Diana's representatives, and that she was actually like eavesdropping on him when he had that conversation with Diana about
Mm.
humans and deities being in love. And of course, it's also revealed at this point as well that Diana herself is like one of those deities. That her true form, I guess, is that of a large bird, which explains all the feathers that are strewn around her house, and that
Mhm.
I guess she had been in love with some monk or something that had, I guess supposedly long since passed away. Um, but yeah, I do remember this from the original series too, because I'd kind of forgotten a little bit about her character, but I did remember that detail. So yeah, this is something as far as I remember that that kind of does get covered in the original series. Maybe it is, gone about differently, but I do remember that plot point at least. Um, and also, I guess Holo says that she had told Diana to tell Lawrence about something about the town in the north, like I guess like not being around anymore or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
it's I think they were talking about Yoitsu.
Yoei too, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think, I can't remember if it was either Lawrence or Holo that asked, like, if a human can, have a relationship with a deity such as
That
Holo.
yeah, I think that was Lawrence.
Yeah, okay. And, eventually, like, like, eventually, like, this conversation eventually, has both Holo and Lawrence growing even closer to each other. So they end up like going out to the festival, to celebrate, and pretty much that's where the episode ends from there. It Yeah, it's more or less the same way as like how how the original series left off. But yeah, but like I said earlier, that next week's episode is finally heading to new territory after all these years. I think maybe about 15 years of waiting, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, most of the season has more or less been the same as the original series, with maybe some differences here and there or some changes. But
Yeah.
well, I mean, the most notable one being one of the antagonists. But aside from that, it's been pretty similar. So I mean, fortunately, we're now finally getting to new material that wasn't covered in the original anime. It just sucks that it's just this last, the last, I guess, 6 episodes of the season that is actually like the new, some of the new stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, so regardless of that, I mean, I have enjoyed the new season. I like the new art style. I think it definitely looks better than the original series did. Um, I mean, I think that, of course, obviously, it seems like the intention this time is to be closer to the source material than the original series was. And I think, from what I could tell, it seems like that they've gone out of their way to try to do that. I
Yeah.
can't really say for sure, as I haven't read the source material, but it does seem like that's at least a big part of the reason why this was made in the first place.
Yeah. I'm curious if they're gonna end up announcing a brand new season soon after this, because it just seems like, yeah, I mean, we've waited like, for so long now that we were finally getting like, well, basically just only 6 episodes of new material for the first time. But I'm curious if like they're gonna continue this like further after this. Either they're just gonna,
I mean, I would
or
kind of be surprised if they weren't planning to do that, because it seems like I mean, with the way that the series, with the season, the way the season starts, it really seems to me like that's what they're planning to do, is that they're planning to cover the original novel series, and maybe eventually go into the sequel series. Although I don't know if the sequel series is actually like still going or not, but
yeah, technically, from what I hear, it's still going. It's what was it? It's called Wolf and Parchment, which
yeah.
focuses on Holo and Lawrence's daughter. Um, I think they said it's like maybe about a dozen volumes in. I can't remember, but they
It
said it
could be
started
that
like on.
they might, maybe if they ever do plan to cover that, they might wait for it to be actually be finished. Of course,
Yeah,
the original series has been finished for a while, so I mean they could easily like cover the original series.
yeah. But yeah, I am excited on like on all the new stuff we're finally getting. It's kind of been like a kind of a long I mean, I'm trying to say this in a more positive light, because it's like overall like this newer iteration of the show it's really good. It's still really good. It's just for me having to watch the original series um already, and having to rewatch most of the same story beats with some minor changes here and there, but it's like still um it's just like I was going into the mentality of like, when are we getting finally getting the new stuff for the first time, and here we are,
Yeah,
like, waiting until next week that we're finally getting the new stuff.
yeah. I mean, it would definitely be inaccurate to assume this is like something like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where it doesn't really take long for it to get to the new stuff. But this, like, it pretty much does sort of go the same direction as the original series up until like near I guess the end of this season. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's definitely understandable as to why they had to retread a lot of the same storylines from previous. I mean, obviously, like we mentioned, that they had to change the antagonist from one of the earlier episodes because or the original one was original anime was initially a woman, but the actual light novel character was male. So they had to change that first, and then of course they had to go at it one by one, retreading the same storyline, going all the way up to where we are right now, finally going into this new storyline. Which, like I said, I haven't read the light novels. I don't know where this is going. Honestly, there is this storyline in the original anime that happens after this, but I can't tell if that was really from the light novel itself or if that was just an anime original thing.
Yeah, I mean, based on what people said, they skipped this arc that's coming up, and I guess they went into something else. So I mean, I assume it might have been something from the original series that isn't, I guess, wasn't filler. That was in the series, but they had skipped over this this story arc because I guess they assumed it wasn't important. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. At least we're finally getting new material. But yeah, I mean, I have enjoyed it regardless. It does, like I said, the biggest criticism is that if you've seen the original series, it's going to feel very familiar. But I think the major positive is just the new improved art style and animation and the fact that it seems like it is trying to stick closer to the source material. Um, but yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about the episode though. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah. I mean, overall, my overall opinion of the show is still positive. There's nothing inherently bad about it. It's just it took its time to get to where it is right now. I mean, it's definitely they have a reason as to why they made it this way. Just to you know, not only just bring in people who watched the original, but also bring in a new generation of viewers into the show.
Yeah. Yeah, guys. But that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.